What's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Dan Silva from Strength and Youth Therapy. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things, which is running. So we're going to be going over 3 things that you can look for in your own running form. So basically some self-assessments you can use, things that are going to not only make you a more efficient runner, but also decrease your chance of injury. So the first thing we're going to talk about is called cadence. So what cadence is basically how many steps you're taking per minute or how many times your foot is hitting the ground. So ideal cadence is somewhere between about 170 steps per minute and 190. So basically what we want to do is figure out how many steps per minute you're taking now and slowly ramp up to around that 170 to 180 to 190 range. What most people are going to find is that they're too low. So most people are not taking enough steps per minute. As they start to make that consciously aware and try to take more steps per minute, what basically happens is you're taking more shorter steps. So that means less total force per step is actually going into the body. This not only makes you a more efficient runner, it's also going to decrease the stress on the ankles, the knees, as well as the hips and even the lower back. So all the way up the chain. A few things that you can use to help you get that cadence up is an app, so a metronome app or some of the music streaming apps like Spotify. Find either a song or that metronome and set it 5 to 10 beats per minute higher than whatever cadence you found. So your footsteps are naturally going to want to align with that cadence, which is going to slowly bring you up towards that 170 or 180 beats per minute. So the second thing that we're going to talk about is how our foot is actually hitting the ground. So think about running a kilometer, you're taking approximately, give or take, about 1,000 steps. That's 1,000 times your foot's hitting the ground. So we want to make sure that it's hitting the ground in a nice, safe position and a position that's able to absorb force well. So the first or the most common mistake that we see is that people are hitting with a heel strike. When you hit with the heel, your ankle is not absorbing force very well, and you're actually creating a force in the opposite direction which you're going. So it actually does make you slower. The best way to test if you're doing this is to set up a camera just to the side of the treadmill, just to get a good view of your foot as it's hitting the ground. And I mean, most smartphones nowadays have that slow-mo feature. Throw the slow motion feature on and really slow it down and try to pinpoint exactly which part of your foot is hitting the ground first. So if you do find out that you're heel striking or you're hitting the ground with your heel first, the good news is that if you fix the cadence, that's going to normalize that heel strike. So as you bring that cadence up towards 170 and 180 beats per minute, that foot strike will be more and more natural. So the third piece and the final piece that we're going to talk about is the hips. So we're going to go a little higher up. For this one, the best way to self-assess this is to either have a friend film you running from the back view, preferably on a treadmill, or just set up your camera on some sort of stand. But basically what we're looking at the hips is the side-to-side motion. So running is a straightforward movement. We don't want to be moving side to side too often. A lot of times what we see is people get almost like a model walk where the hips dip in off to the side every step they take. That's a lot of stress on those outside hip muscles there. So we don't want that. We want to stabilize the pelvis very well. We want to see not too much movement through the pelvis as we're running, whether that be fast running or slow running. So if you do notice that you are getting that side to side or that hip dropping as you're running, it could be 2 things. Number one, it could just be that you're not aware of it and you're not activating the muscles properly, or it could actually be a true weakness in some of those outside muscles there, some of the glute muscles. So if you're finding that just being consciously aware of that problem is not actually solving it, it could be due to a weakness issue. Feel free to stay tuned for some of our future videos where we're actually going to address this issue. Or you can always feel free to stop on by at the gym, at the clinic for a consultation. We'd be more than happy to help you out.